We are rolling.
Good morning. Welcome back to the conversation. This is Midlife Crisis Activities. This is our lifestyles and pop culture webcast. Our daily shout out to the world. I'm your host, Patrick Russell. And over there is my very vivacious producer, Veronica. Together we're here to lend our voices to the noise from a multi-generational perspective to help explain everything that's right and wrong in this world. Happy Manic Monday to you, Veronica.
Happy Monday.
Veronica, what is it with life that as soon as you get real busy, TV gets real good? Am I right? Let's start off with, of course, Euphoria, our favorite show. Wow, last episode, Zendaya playing a teenage girl that's going through a fentanyl withdrawal attack because her dear old mom flushed her entire stash down the toilet, and she spent the entire episode going through a withdrawal attack, blowing up any chance for an intervention from any of her family and friends. In fact, spends the entire episode going from each house of the main characters in the show, just blowing up the relationship and finding her way, sneaking out of a lot of windows, right? We ended up seeing her sneaking out and ended up getting away from it all for the entire night. But just how masterful was the performance by Zendaya, playing that person that just has spun out of control. Even the skin looked like she had been up for over 72 hours. She played the entire role to a T. Yep. From a younger generation's perspective, how spot on do you think her portrayal of that disease really was? Your thoughts?
I mean, episode 5 was great. I think that was one of my my favorite episodes to watch, and it was hard though, because now that I go back to it, like I was speaking with one of my clients, and she was telling me that her whole family basically got diagnosed with something psychologically, depression and drug abuse and stuff like that. It was just last week. It's a terrible disease. A lot of families who have to deal with it, I give them a lot of my heartfelt, appreciation of how much of the struggle that they have to go through. Because that's what made the episode for me so powerful, is that I was really uncomfortable the entire episode, right? I mean, I don't think I've been that scared legitimately at a TV show in such a long time because of what it was portraying. It felt like it hit spot on the difficulties and the challenges that families, friends, and family of people that are suffering from fentanyl addiction. Boy, that fentanyl, that stuff's got to be really dirty stuff. Now, I've actually had Oxycontin. No? Well, Oxycontin, I know I've had Oxycontin in the past for pain relief, and I don't remember it being that potent, but this fentanyl, my goodness, it's really just tearing families apart, and I think Zendaya did a masterful job of trying to portray that so that we could see just how difficult it really is dealing with that kind of disease in your family. And then the other show would be Reacher, the new Amazon show based on Lee Child's thriller novels. Wow, what an instant show of what am I looking for here? I enjoyed it so much, and it was a throwback. This is I'm looking for it. It was a throwback to a simpler time. You know how fashion and styles, they always kind of recycle and kind of come back. It's cyclical, right? Same thing with movie themes. And now with Reacher, you see yourself transported back, at least for my generation, back to the 80s, where there were clean good guys and bad guys. The lines were drawn crystal clear, where the good guys can kill the bad guys without any recourse, without any retribution, without facing any consequences, right? True, instant poetic justice. And I think that's something that we saw back in the 80s with Schwarzenegger, with Rambo and Stallone. You saw the swift poetic justice being met out, as opposed to what we're really dealing with in life right now, right? Where we're seeing appeals, endless cycles of judicial procedures that end up going nowhere, right? We end up seeing a lot of that in real life, where now it's just so enjoyable to see true justice meted out to the bad guys, right there, and instantly you get that instant gratification of the good guys winning over evil. And I know we were watching it together, and I know that it was a special show because you ended up cheering on Reacher. The first fight he got into was a bunch of punk bad guys, and how he was instantly able to beat the hell out of them and really show them, hey, this is the wrong thing to do in this world, and now I'm going to stop it. You enjoyed that. I mean, that was something that really got you kind of even saying so, wow, yeah. And so from a young generation's perspective, how easy was it for you to fall in love with a show where it really
colored the lines very distinctly of who was good and who was a bad guy.
I mean, I love the show, and I think it kind of, I don't know, it makes me feel good that we don't deal with situations in that way, but and then also seeing it, it's like, yeah, that makes sense. Maybe we should implement that more into the real life. But obviously now we follow, rules, we follow protocols and stuff like that. So it's
endless
always
rules and endless protocols and endless appeals that end up, in my mind and in my heart, feeling like they end up going nowhere.
Yeah, but it's always nice just to kind of transport yourself into like that area, and then you're like, oh, that, I mean, I wonder if that was even better to be able to do that instead of like going through, burning money and lawyers and stuff like that for different situations, But I mean, I love both shows, and I don't know, I'm looking forward for the next episode.
So, final note, we've been saying it a lot on the show. Art teaches, right? And especially when it comes to TV. TV is just a reflection of what we're going through in real life in certain aspects. One we have where we have the opioid crisis that's being reflected in Euphoria, and then on the other side we have, I think, this reflection of society that really wants to see the bad guys go down and actually pay for their crimes, as opposed to being able to snake their way out of any consequences, be it legal maneuvers or connections or nepotism. Whatever the case might be, I think a lot of society now, through their TV, is showing what our heart really wants to see, and I think that's true poetic justice.
But also, it can also lead to people doing that and imagining that that's the best way to do it. So I think that's kind of tricky too, though.
Oh yeah, it's a cycle. It's a cycle back and forth. You're right.
Yeah.
Eventually, there's going to be a vigilante out there that's going to go way too far, and then you're going to see a shift again.
Yeah.
Guys, there's no right answer, there's no wrong answer, but there's definitely your opinion. Please don't just subscribe to this channel, even though we will be doing this back and forth on a daily basis. But lend your voice to the show. It'll make it a whole lot more fun. Guys, remember, it doesn't matter what comes your way today. It doesn't matter what obstacles or challenges that you may face. You just need to remember one thing. Give 'em hell. Happy Manic Monday, everybody.